This is Sword of the Black Stone, doing just a quick little tutorial for the any percent category. Time begins, by the way, after you hit the new game button. As soon as the cutscene starts, that's where the timer starts. So it's not exactly when you hit new game. There's a few moments, maybe about a half a second before the timer starts. So a few things that you'll want to know is that you can rebind your controls in the launcher for this game. So the Unity launcher does allow you to change some of your controls. The only rules are that you are not allowed to use multiple binds for the left control or whatever you used for Fire 1. You can't double mash the attack button. So for the sake of accessibility, that is the only thing that's specifically banned. That and binding left control to a scroll wheel, if you decided that you wanted to do it that way to effectively turbo your attack button, that's another thing that's banned. Out of this cutscene, you'll notice that I'm going to hold up. You get to start running full speed immediately if you hold up. This cutscene's about a minute long, just so you're mindful of what it costs to reset. You'll notice I started at full speed because I was holding up in that cutscene. Typically, if you just start pressing up later, you have this very slow wind up. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move to this wall. I usually aim for about the corner right here. And I'm aiming for pretty much right in front of me. I've got a lineup I'm pretty happy with right now. I want to move forward, and I want to hold up into this cutscene. I'm going to show you what happens if you don't hold up into this cutscene. So if you don't hold up into this cutscene, nothing happens. And you'll notice actually if I were to mash up, for instance, or even the jump button, you could sort of move in this cutscene. It's a strange little thing that ends up happening, but you can move through this cutscene. I'm going to go ahead and just cancel the cutscene right now. Just so you know, if this happens to you, there's a pretty easy backup for this. Touching the sword does the same thing that we're going to do. So I can use this to basically fly through the air. And this is going to continue until I hit escape or cancel this text box or whatever. If this happens to you and your aim is bad, we're trying to get through this door right here. So if your aim ends up being bad, if you're playing on the fastest graphics setting, you can actually just jump straight through here. So we can skip this door entirely and move into this teleporter. If you want to see what this was supposed to look like, what I can do is I can hold up into this cutscene right here. And if I let go of up while I'm in the cutscene, then I just fly straight forward. This lineup right here is going to get me through the door and pretty much to the teleporter exactly. I'm going to hit the escape key to cancel this cutscene once I've gone through the door, and I can run straight to the teleporter. Keep in mind that the speed that you fly is actually dependent on your graphics setting. You do not want to play on fantastic graphics. I know that this game looks like that's what you're going to want, so that this game can be rendered in high fidelity, but you actually fly faster if you set it to the lowest graphics setting, which is called fastest on the Unity launcher. So this would be the character that we would talk to if we wanted to collect our second companion in this game. The any percent category doesn't pick up any of the companions, so we're going to turn straight around, and we're going to try to climb up this wall that's right in front of us. The easiest way to do this is actually to jump on the side of this teleporter. If you step on the middle of it, we'll go back to the previous level, but if you jump on the side of it, and then from here jump up the wall, you can get pretty high up on it, and just climb straight up the wall is what we want. There I had a little bit of a bad angle, and so I'm falling back down, but this is what we want. We want to go straight up this wall right here, because this teleporter right here is the one that we're wanting to get to. So the next piece of tech that you'll need to know is how to fly while paused. This works while you have the shield, which is equipped by default in all of the levels except for the first one, and with the ocarina. You'll notice that we have the ocarina in our inventory right here. We got that for free just by entering the second stage. We skipped a whole bunch of quests and it just gave us these items. But what we need to do is while we have either the shield or the ocarina equipped, if we hold down the Alt key, left Alt, which is our secondary item button, and hold forward, if we pause and then let go of those buttons, you'll notice that we're flying through the air. You can use all of the screen real estate that's around the box around the pause menu to figure out where you are, but what we want to do is we ultimately want to pause after we've made it into this room on the side over here. So as soon as I can tell that I'm in there safely, I'm going to land on this teleporter. This takes us to the Dark World. This is a later section of the Dark World that we have access to. We're supposed to do a little boss fight in this direction, but we're going to warp through it and straight to the teleporter for the final boss. So you want to line up as square as you can with this door. The straighter your angle, the better. Not only will you make it there faster, but we're actually trying to hit a pretty narrow corridor at the end. So the closer you are, the better. And we're going to just do it again. So I'm going to hold up, shield, and I'm going to pause. And as soon as I let go of those, I'm going to fly through the air. This angle's not perfect, but it's close enough. You have a little bit of leeway, but you do want to try to be as careful as possible. So we're just going to fly straight here, and you're going to see that we're going to fly through this room first, and then we're going to fly through this next room. This next room triggers a boss fight, so you do not want to exit the pause menu in this next room. You want to wait until you've gone through the wall where the door is located on the back wall of this room. And once you do that, there's a teleporter that will take us straight to the final boss. So a few things that you're going to want to know about this boss fight. First is that this boss can be frozen in place if you hold the left alt. I'm going to show that in just a second, but you can hold left alt to freeze this boss in place. But it's actually going to be even easier than that to kill the boss, because as it turns out your attack button works while the game is paused. So we're going to run up to its hitbox and just mash the attack button while the game is paused, and we'll actually be able to tell once we've done enough damage to move into the second phase. So here we are at the end of this cutscene. I'm going to go ahead and hold up in here, and you can see that this boss is just going to rotate in place, and we can freeze it by holding down the left alt key. For whatever reason, that freezes the boss in place. We want to get to this back side of the boss right here. We want to get pretty close to it. This is probably too close, actually, so I'm going to back up just a little bit. And what we want to do is we want to jump through the boss, and we want to pause once you see her knees appear above the boss. So that's the visual cue we're looking for. You can see where her knees are. Once her knees have gone up through the boss, that's when we'll be aligned with this hitbox as best as possible. So I'm going to jump, and then I'm going to pause, and now I'm just going to mash the attack button. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can actually see the boss. The boss is just going to disappear while we're paused once we've dealt enough damage. So I'm sitting here attacking, and there you see the boss is gone now. I'm going to unpause at this point and continue holding left alt. So if I hold left alt, the boss freezes in place. If I let go of alt, it's going to fly around. This is actually really, really hard to hit. So I'm going to freeze the boss in place. I'm going to run up to it, and I don't really have to do anything special. Just going to attack right here while I'm holding left alt. I may actually be too close to the boss. You can get inside its hitbox a little bit, and that's a problem. You really want to be careful about how you move into this boss. You want to align yourself pretty close to it because it's going to try to push you back, but you don't want to get inside of its hitbox. It doesn't take very much to kill it. As soon as it disappears here, time is on this cutscene right there. So as soon as that cutscene starts, the boss is done, and that is the end of the any % category for Sword of the Black Stone. I hope you've enjoyed this. There are some slightly longer categories if you're interested in checking them out. We have categories where we beat all the bosses, collect all the companions, and there's even a 100% category where we collect all of the items in the game. They all make use of a lot of the same glitches. Speaking of these glitches, there is a small but dedicated community around this game, so I'd like to thank Nodelecta and Plastic Rainbow for finding a lot of these glitches. This has not been, not even primarily my work. I would say very little has been found by me specifically. Most of this has been found by Nodelecta and Plastic Rainbow, so thank you so much to them.